Hey guys, what's up? And welcome back to the Nest Podcast, episode 32, the Magic Johnson episode. I'm your host, Brandon, and with me, as always, is my co host, Zach. And we're your one stop shop for nerd entertainment and sports talk. We talk about video games, Game of Thrones, and sports. This week, we want to kind of talk about some other TV and other things that we like to watch. And we stream a lot. I stream a lot in my house. We watch Netflix a lot. Seems like that's the go-to for us. But what are some of the shows that you like to watch out there, Zach? Do you use Netflix too, or are you a Hulu guy?
We have both. Sprint's cool because it gives us Hulu for free.
Oh,
Of
cool.
course, Netflix and stuff. And what's funny is we stream everything. We don't have cable. We use YouTube TV. So we're basically all streaming. That's kind of a different thing than what we're talking about right now, and we can get into that if you want. But yeah, Netflix is so, in my opinion, leaps above all the rest. I mean, they're coming out with their own movies, their own TV shows, and it's triple A stuff. Like you'd think they'd been doing this for 20 years. They're keeping up with all kinds of TV networks.
It's hard to believe just a few years ago they were a by mail DVD subscription service, you know?
Yeah.
It's crazy. They've stepped their game up, and like you said, they're competing with the big boys. They're winning awards at all of these shows with some of these original series that they have up against like HBO, Showtime, those you know, the expensive like rich people only networks,
Mhm.
for a lot of people growing up, they didn't have HBO. A lot of people didn't get to see The Sopranos or Entourage. A lot of people don't know about Dexter until it came to Netflix.
Yeah, yeah. I never got to watch Sopranos. I still haven't. I may eventually at some point.
Oh, you need to.
Um, yeah. And I remember when I was a kid, uh, an uncle of mine recorded Band of Brothers on tape and sent it to me so I could watch it. It's like a World War II miniseries that's fucking phenomenal. And that's how I watched that. And I mean, back then, that's the only way to do that. Like, unless you had the packages that had all that shit, you were never going to be able to watch it unless you got it somehow, or it came to VHS eventually or whatever. And now I think the reason Netflix and stuff like that has really taken over is because you can watch whatever you want, whatever time. If you want to watch Bird Box 17 times in a row, if you want to watch it at midnight, if you want to watch it on your phone, wherever, you can. And it's way better of a system than having to tune in at 9 p.m. every single night or whatever to watch your show.
Yeah, and DVR really sparked that trend and that idea, being able to record your favorite shows so that you can watch them on your schedule. What was it? TiVo was the
Mm-hmm.
original app that or original device that did all that. And they evolved it to where it's like not only can you, schedule this thing to record for you, you can just fucking have a service to where you can watch anything you want anytime you want.
Yeah, that was groundbreaking back then.
And the fact that they're constantly coming out with new content and recycling old content and things like that, it keeps it fresh. Like right now, in mid-March, they're getting ready to drop new seasons on Netflix that people are on the edge of their seats waiting for the first episode so they can watch.
Yep. Yeah, and do you remember?
Diet.
Yeah, you kind of cut out there for a second, but it's all good.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, go ahead. Pick something up because I don't know what the last thing you heard was.
That's all right. Do you remember like when TiVo became a thing and like I did, of course I didn't have it or whatever, and it was like a very selective thing.
I just
Like,
remember seeing it on TV.
yeah, and they had that iconic like little noise when you'd pause and stuff, like doot, little noise that they created.
Oh yeah, I do
Uh-huh.
remember that now. Yeah, the little
Yep.
mnemonic device that came with that product,
Yep. Just
just like the "You Got Mail" voice.
Exactly. Yeah. But like just the thought of being able to pause, rewind, record whatever you're watching, like just took people for a crazy ride that would eventually be what we have now, where everything's streamed. Cable is really like losing a lot of customers to subscription based internet TV. And a lot of people don't even have that. They just have Netflix, Hulu, and stuff like that, and just watch TV like that. Hulu is kind of cool because it has a lot of shows that are live and they come on Hulu like the next day. That's pretty cool too.
Yeah, that's we also have Hulu. That's how we've kept up with This Is Us. We wait until it airs on the whole series or whatever, and then we'll just binge watch it in like a weekend or two. Because we don't have time to sit down every whatever night of the week it comes on and schedule to plan to sit in front of the TV. We've got 2 kids running around this house that we have to, get ready for bed, make sure that they bathe, brush their hair, do everything. We don't have time to sit in front of the TV.
Yeah.
So we can binge on the weekend when it's raining outside in Florida. So it's pretty
Yep.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's what we use it for, and we're able to catch up on shows that are on TV right now that isn't on Netflix. But then we have our Netflix originals that we like to keep up on, and those are, our rainy day, rainy weekend shows. Um, I kind of want to list, a couple of the shows that we like, a couple of the shows you like from each of the streaming services, and I want to see which one we think is the best one, even if it's not the one that we utilize the most,
Mhm.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
The best bang for your buck, if you will.
Yeah.
All right. Um, let's see. So obviously we've got Netflix, HBO Go, and Hulu. Those I would say are the big 3.
Yeah.
What shows do you watch mainly on the Netflix?
Um so we like pick up whatever seems interesting. We recently finished You.
We watched that too. That was very interesting.
Very interesting.
Dude's
Yeah.
dude's a creeper, right?
Super creeper. Um so that was really cool.
I like, what did you actually think of that show though? Did you like it? Did you not like it?
Oh,
Or
I thoroughly enjoyed it. Yeah. Just watching him be a fucking psycho stalker was very intriguing.
he's like a hipster Dexter.
Yeah, pretty much.
And that girl, what was her name in that show?
Beck.
Beck, that's right. Fucking
Ditzy.
she never closes her goddamn windows.
Crazy. Ditzy hipster, like wannabe writer that just apparently can't tell a psychopath from a regular person.
No, no, not at all. I don't know. I wanna see where they're going with it, though. I think
Yeah.
there'll definitely be another season, and I guess that's one to wait on. Uh,
Yeah.
Whenever I cut out a little bit ago, I was mentioning, my wife is excited about the Santa Clarita Diet. That's one that we've watched together a little bit. Have you seen that?
My wife watches that one. I've seen like 5 seconds of it, but for whatever reason, I just never cared to sit down and watch that. But it
It's
seems fine.
interesting. Yeah, it's interesting. For listeners that might not know, it's got Drew Barrymore and, Timothy Olyphant. Um,
Yes.
and Drew Barrymore's character is like an undead or whatever, but she's not a zombie. She's like a functioning human, but she only can eat human flesh.
Right.
She something happened. I don't remember everything, but something happened and she's got this condition now. And other people in the story have it as well, and it's causing all kinds of chaos. It's kind of weird and crazy and zany, but it's entertaining for sure.
Yeah. Another one that is new that my wife and I watch. I've kind of fallen off on it. I'm really bad at keeping up with like watching shit because I want to do other stuff.
So am I.
But Russian Doll. If you know Orange is the New Black, she's in that. I can't remember her name on that show, but anyway, in Russian Doll, she's like a party girl who doesn't have her life together, and every time she dies, she wakes back up at this party, and she's basically just like living life over and over again. And it gets kind of more, deeper than that, but that's like the premise. And it's good.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah, it's an interesting
I've
one.
never watched any of that. I've seen it as I've been scrolling through. I recently started the Umbrella Academy, but it's kind of weird.
Mm.
I haven't gotten into it yet. I gave it 2 or 3 episodes to try, and I just never really got hooked. Um, One that I did kinda sink my teeth in was, well, The Ranch. The Ranch, I've
I've
watched
heard,
all of that. It's
yeah, I've
hilarious.
heard really good things about that.
But the one I was gonna say is Glow, The Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling or whatever. That one's pretty fucking good.
Wow, nice. That's
It's like
funny.
it's kinda set in, I don't know, probably the '80s time period, and, it's based on a true event or true, like, story, I guess.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
think the characters might change and stuff for TV, but it was actually pretty good. It's got some big name, actors in it that are kinda older or whatever. They're not in their A-list status anymore, but it's pretty cool. You should give it a shot. It's entertaining.
Yeah, for sure. Um, and I don't know if you're like a Marvel fan. I kind of am, but I know a lot of people are really excited for the like mini series that they're doing um, for Marvel characters. Like they have like the Punisher series. They have Luke Cage. I think they did like a little Daredevil one. And Marvel fans are really going crazy for that because you can kind of dive deeper into the lesser known characters.
Are those all Netflix, exclusives or Netflix originals or whatever?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
wow, okay. So Netflix definitely has a lot going for them, and the cost is only, like, what, $10 a month?
Uh, it might be like
Or is
closer
it
to
14?
15.
Is it
Yeah, I think
14
it's
now?
closer to
14.99
15.
or whatever?
Um,
Okay.
One that I just thought of that we can't forget is Ozark. Have you seen
Ozark's a
that?
good one, yeah,
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 super
um,
good.
and speaking of that actor, Arrested Development,
Oh yeah, dude, that show is so funny.
so Netflix is the shit, man.
Yeah,
Um, the honestly, I don't give Hulu much of a chance in this fight. Yeah, it's great for watching like whatever's on current TV, but my biggest ding against them is the fact that they don't have a huge catalog of all of the shows.
yes, that is
Um,
true.
Say for example, if you've never seen The Big Bang Theory and you wanted to go back and watch episode 1 of The Big Bang Theory to see what all the fuss is about, you can't
Yeah,
because it's not available. You can only go back to like season 7 and
right.
then watch from there. So that sucks. Um, but that is how, like I said, my wife and I keep up with This Is Us. That's how I kept up with Brooklyn Nine-Nine for a long time and stuff like that. So, and they do have some good original movies and original series that come along every now and then.
Yeah. Um, I think their biggest one is The Handmaid's Tale.
Mhm.
That I
That got real popular, didn't it?
Yeah, super popular. Girls fucking love that stuff. I I think it's enjoyable, but it's I don't know, it's weird. Like the whole like premise of it where like the handmaid herself is like a weird, like basically birthing person for this weird cult in the show is just a weird thing, but people love that show. I want to say that's probably their most successful like original series. For me, I use Hulu to watch shows that I want to watch of like specific episodes. Like they have Rick and Morty on there, which is awesome. They have I think all of South Park and like Simpsons and King of the Hill and stuff like that. So if you want to watch like certain episodes or like a string of episodes of that kind of show, you can do that there. When Netflix doesn't have that, so that's kind of cool.
That's true. But I think the only one that really would rival Netflix would be HBO Go. Because HBO content is the only thing that I think that really comes close to being worth the money that you would pay. Both of them are 15 bucks, and HBO Go, you're going to get Game of Thrones, but then you can also go back and watch shows like Entourage, and you need to go back and watch shows like The Sopranos.
Yeah. Is The Wire an HBO thing?
The Wire's an HBO thing.
Need to
Yeah,
watch
dude.
that too.
Yeah, so we're both going to be getting HBO because we both dropped cable packages and all
Oh,
that
you did
stuff.
too?
Well, we still have cable, but we dropped the premium cable and all that stuff off of ours.
Yeah.
And we're going to drop basic cable. We were just locked in a contract and we had to
Oh yeah.
wait until that shit ran out. You know how that all goes. But
Gotcha.
once that's done, I think we're going to go to Sling.
Okay. I use YouTube TV. I don't know if I mentioned that.
Yeah, you
we
said
use
that
YouTube
earlier.
TV. You can have 6 people on it, unlimited DVR. I think it's $40 a month is the package we have.
Yeah, that's not bad.
My wife
I think
wants
Sling
like,
starts at 20.
okay, yeah. I think it's probably based on how many channels they have.
Yeah, and I just want the
Um,
basic sports one because like the only sport that I really care to watch almost every game of is baseball, and I stream that anyway.
yeah. Yeah. The different like internet streaming TV services have different channels and stuff. They basically all have the same, but certain ones have obviously more than others or whatever. And my wife is super particular. She has to have all that bullshit TV like MTV and Bravo and all that crappy TV.
She has to
But
keep up with her Kardashians.
yeah, that's her thing. So I guess whatever. But yeah, for like a regular TV watcher, basically any of them will be good. I get Fox Sports Midwest for Cardinals stuff, and obviously a bunch of ESPNs and all that stuff. So for me, sports is covered. That's all I ever really watch live. So yeah, I highly recommend one of the TV streaming services. They seem to be a lot cheaper. And like you said, if you're in some kind of contract thing, that is obviously not a thing with the streaming services. You can easily watch them on your phone, on a laptop, however you want to do that. If you have like a smart TV, you can pull that up. It's super easy. And I think cable is going to have to change some shit if they want to try to keep up.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, as soon as our contract is done, we're going away from it all.
Yeah.
So anyway, HBO, another thing that you need to watch when you finally get your HBO Go is at least the first season of True Detectives. That's a phenomenal one. It's oh god, what's his name? Matthew McConaughey and Jesus Christ. I'm drawing a blank on the
Jesus
other
Christ
actor.
is in a show. Nice.
Yes, but it's a cult type thing in Louisiana, I want to say. Woody
Okay.
Harrelson. Woody Harrelson.
Oh yeah.
It's phenomenal. It's fucking great.
Nice.
You'll dig that. And apparently season 3 is really good too, and I haven't seen it yet.
Okay. Cool. Yeah.
So stoked
sure.
about that. Yeah, but other than that, I'm stoked for baseball season, which I mentioned is something else that I stream on MLB TV.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I watch my Red Sox. I know you're in market to watch the Cardinals, so that doesn't really help you that much. But
well, I've been able to watch spring training games that haven't been aired on regular TV, so that's cool. And then another thing that's cool is for certain games you can watch them after the fact, so that's nice.
Yeah, and during the season you get to watch that all the time. Like you can go back and watch the whole game because all of them are televised.
Yeah.
For you being in the St. Louis market, you'll be a blackout because you're in the local area.
Yeah.
For me, like when the Red Sox are playing the Rays or the Marlins or whatever, I have to watch on TV. So I'd have to watch on Rays, Fox Sports South or whatever to watch it on that network. But for me as a Red Sox fan, most of the time I can watch it on the network, no problem.
Yeah. And I would say that's my only knock of that service. And I'm sure it has to do with like some kind of deal or something.
Yeah, it's for the local markets so that local TV doesn't get completely crushed by it.
Yeah. But if you're like you and you have a team that you're a fan of that you're not local to, it's perfect.
Yeah, and you know, as a veteran, they give a deal to where I get like 50% off. So it's only $75 a year for every game, 162 games, except for the ones that are in market.
And so can you the ones in market, can you watch those after they've aired?
Yes.
Okay, nice. So
Yeah.
you can eventually watch them, just maybe not live if they're
Right.
in
Right.
market. That's
Right.
pretty damn good.
And you can always go back and get the highlight packages and stuff like that. They have their own special highlight reels that they put together. It's a great service. It has the mobile app that connects to it, so it can text you updates of your team or whatever if you're out and about. I really dig it. If you're a sports fan, that's the way to go.
Yeah. Speaking of sports streaming services, is NFL Sunday Ticket still tied to DirecTV? Do we know?
I don't think it's tied to DirecTV. I think you can get it anywhere now.
Okay.
But we had that as a kid, and when it worked properly, because it sucked back then because it was tied directly to our DirecTV,
Yep.
and the satellites back then were terrible. If it rained, you had to go outside and move it. Uh,
Yep.
but
If it
but
snows and the dish gets covered in
yeah,
snow.
yeah,
Yeah.
you know the one. Um, but I remember my dad always being like, "Yeah, it's not worth the money," because he's like, "You're paying to watch every single game, but you're only really going to watch realistically like 2 or 3 games a day, like on a Sunday. So you're paying for stuff that you're not using."
Yeah.
Which makes sense. And I'm doing the same thing with baseball because I don't watch every single game that happens in a season. I watch almost all of the Red Sox games and some of the other games.
Right.
But I don't know. I guess whenever you only play 16 games a year,
Yeah.
it's a much smaller sample size, and NFL is a lot more expensive.
Yeah. I the only thing I can think of is if you have like a lesser popular team and you're not in market, I guess
Sure.
NFL Sunday Ticket could help you there.
Yeah, like maybe if you're what, a Chiefs fan and you live in New York City.
Yeah. I think now though that the Chiefs made it to the championship game and they have Pat Mahomes and all that stuff, they're probably going to be put on the nationally televised games a lot more.
I saw before we came on, about an hour or two before we came on, that there was breaking news that Tyreek Hill was involved in some kind of incident.
Oh Jesus.
We'll see. We'll see.
That whole team is all but falling apart.
Yeah, man. I made a comment on somebody's post. I think it might have been Jose's, that he broke the news to me, and then I commented, "Breaking news: Browns signed Tyreek Hill immediately after release from Chiefs," because that seems to be the trend these days in the NFL.
Speaking of the Browns, man, good God, they are stacking their team.
Talk about reloading. Like, ever since we started talking about them on the Nest podcast, all they've done is win.
Yeah, you're welcome, Cleveland.
Cleveland owes us and Justin from Into the Woods a huge thank you.
Yeah, people weren't talking about the Browns, and I'm pretty sure that's like a fact. Like people were saying Baker Mayfield this and that, but until they won 7 games, people weren't giving them any kind of attention, and we were like, "This is like a thing."
Go back and listen to the first few episodes. If you can get through the shitty audio quality and the fumbling and bumbling that we do trying to introduce topics, then you'll hear us say that the Cleveland Browns are going to be a good team this year. And that was back in what, August of last year that we were saying that. So we saw it coming. I know a lot of other people did. I'm not going to say that we took all of the credit for it or we're the only ones that saw this shit, but we saw that the writing was on the wall, and now it's just completely reloaded.
Yeah, I mean, if the NFL lets Kareem Hunt play,
He will. They announced today officially that he is 8 games suspension.
okay,
So
that's not awful, especially considering what you're getting.
right. He sits half the season basically. But mind you, they still have Nick Chubb. They still have what's his name? Duke.
Oh yeah,
That they're going to be fine for 8 games, and then oh yeah, now you have a fresh Kareem Hunt coming in. Dude,
that,
they win the AFC North.
yeah,
They might actually be the team that plays in the annual who's going to try to beat the Patriots game.
that would be insane. Like to go from a team who didn't win a single game for like 2 whole years to 7 games to how many ever they're going to win this current season to fucking playing the Patriots for like a legit playoff game.
For a legit chance to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, who's going to beat them in the AFC?
It'd have to be some.
You can't say the Steelers. The Steelers aren't going to beat them.
Hell no.
The reloaded Jaguars. I mean, they had to cut a lot of players on that defense just to be able to afford signing Nick Foles. If you watch at the waivers, they cut 5 players to make salary cap for him.
Yeah, and we've already said that Fournette ain't shit. So
I mean, he's soft.
Yeah,
Can he stick around a whole season and not get hurt?
It's insane to think about that the Browns might actually be AFC champs.
I mean, I still see that they have to get through New England. The path still goes through New England to the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, 100%.
They're going to be competitive. I don't see anybody else in the AFC that really will be. The Colts, they did mediocre last season. The Titans just signed Ryan Tannehill. What's up
that's
with that?
Insane. Any word on like if Mariota's going to leave or something?
I don't know. He was injured at the end of last season, but it was just like a sprained ankle or some shit. So I don't think it was anything.
I don't know what anyone would want to do with Ryan Tannehill.
Unless they're just straight up being like, yeah, Mariota, it's not working out. See ya, homie.
Crazy.
And then it's like, how the mighty have fallen. Remember when he was at Oregon and he was the talk of the town?
Beast. Yeah. Yes, that was crazy.
That's a difference in offense.
He got a Heisman, didn't he?
I want to say yes. I'm not 100%. I want to say yes, though. I know he didn't win the national title.
Correct.
They lost that to Ohio State, right?
Correct. Yep.
Okay. And the first ever.
I believe so. Yeah.
First ever national title game. Yeah. Wow. Check us out.
We know stuff.
Oh, speaking of knowing stuff, I'm backtracking completely. One thing that Netflix has that none of the other streaming services has is fucking Jeopardy.
Yes, that is true.
My wife and I, we watch Jeopardy almost every night now.
That's hilarious.
We'll watch a couple episodes of Jeopardy before bed, and I always feel so smart whenever I get like 4 or 5 right in a round. I'm like, yes.
That is a great like wind down show for nighttime, like it's not like a crazy story that or that's gonna like suck you in, or how shows can do that where it's like,
right,
we got to watch the next episode. It's Jeopardy, so it's like you just watch one episode or whatever and then you're done.
And if you're not doing well and the categories aren't anything that you know anything about, then you can just drift off to sleep and it's like, school.
Alex Trebek can ask you questions on to dreamland.
He'll just lull you to sleep. Speaking of Alex Trebek, have you heard his news?
Oh yeah.
I'm sure you have. Yeah, man, that's crazy.
Yeah. So is he not going to be on the show for a while, or how does that work?
No, he says he's going to be at work. And I think they reported that he did go back and do like a full day's worth of recordings and all that stuff at their studio. He plans to work throughout his treatment process. And the 5-year survival rate for pancreatic cancer at stage 4 is like 3% or something like that. It's not very high. I don't know, man.
That's rough.
Yeah, it's a long, long road, but I'm sure there are survivors out there of stage 4 pancreatic cancer, and I'm sure it's happened. So who knows? He might defy the odds, but
yeah.
If he does die, do you think Jeopardy dies, or do they keep it going with a new host?
I'm sure the executives won't be able to just give up that show because of money, but it'll be like The Price is Right. Like The Price is Right with Drew Carey is a weird thing to watch. So
yeah, it is kind of a weird thing to watch. And is Bob Barker still alive?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as far as I know.
I haven't heard that he's dead. I don't recall anyway.
But yeah, like when a show has such an iconic host for so long like that, it becomes a thing to where like you can't replace that dude. Like, sure, you're going to, but it's not going to be the same, and people will know it forever. So yeah. I don't think people will like it.
Is Pat Sajak still the host of Wheel of Fortune?
Yep. Yep.
Wow.
What's her name? Vanna
Vanna
White,
White.
still touching the little screen now.
Yeah, I remember back in the day when she actually had to flip the panels around.
Yep. That's how you know you're old.
Shit.
What a weird gig. Like, what do you do for a living? I am a game show, not even host. Now touch a fucking screen and letters pop up.
I'm a game show letter flipper.
And she's a millionaire.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Her contract keeps getting, renewed for millions of dollars. And all she does is smile and touch a screen.
Wear a crazy ass fancy dress every night.
Yep. Wear a designer gown every single night. How weird is our world?
Such a weird gig.
I wish I could get that job.
Fuck. That'd be amazing. It's gotta be boring as shit, but I mean, if you're making that much money, who gives a hell?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, she's probably interested too. She's probably like, "Oh, yay, this guy's finally guessing the right letter. Fucking idiots."
Yeah. Oh, you want a trip to Hawaii? I've been there like 19 times.
Hawaii. That's the poor side.
It's not even the big island.
Rich people and Dutch's gang go to Tahiti.
That's crazy.
So have you been getting your list together for the best players that you think in baseball?
I have a top 5 for National League and American League position players.
Awesome. I haven't started my I started, but I haven't really narrowed down my pitchers list yet.
Yeah, I've have names floating around in my head, but I haven't, categorized them and actually listed them out.
All right, cool. So we'll give our position players and our hitters and stuff like that this week, and then say next week we should be able to have our pitchers list, our top 5 pitchers from each league.
Yeah.
Man, I'm excited for this season. I'm excited to watch it, and in part because 2 of my top 5 play for my favorite team, so I'll get to watch them a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that being said, number 5 on my list, I've got JD Martinez, Jay Dingers. That dude, he went off last year. 130 RBIs, batted .330. Fucking phenomenal. And that's number 5 on the list.
Just to clarify for people, I have no idea what he's about to say. He doesn't know what I'm about to say. JD Martinez is my number 5 as well.
Really? Nice.
Yep.
Nice. Well, then yeah, let me list my number 4 and then you can say your number 4. We'll just list them off like that.
Okay.
Do you have any other thing to say about Jay Dingers?
No, I mean, what has to be said, best DH in the league.
Yeah. Did you know that he won 2 Silver Sluggers last year?
He hit enough to just earn a second one.
Well,
is that how that works?
He won the Silver Slugger for being the best hitting designated hitter, and then he also won it for being the best outfielder.
Oh, okay. So he got it for 2 positions.
Yeah, I think
that's awesome.
Like left field and designated hitter. He got the Silver Slugger for.
Jeez.
So, yeah. You know how many any of the Yankees got?
0.
Number 4 on my list, I've got Francisco Lindor.
Okay. He's a little higher on my list. At number 4, I've got Jose Altuve.
Okay. He's a little higher on my list. For me, Lindor, I think he's the spark of the Indians. But the Indians are not the best team, so it doesn't really showcase all that he could do. He could be more valuable if he had guys around him getting on base. Jose Ramirez is great, but he's pretty much a hit a home run or strikeout kind of guy. If Lindor had runners on or people that can have contact around him and protect him a little more, his numbers would be a lot higher. But as a defensive player, this dude is a fucking brick wall at short. Nothing gets by him, and he's flashy.
Yeah, I agree. I think if Lindor either if had the Indians, kept up that team that they had a couple of years ago, or if Lindor can get on some other, good team, he'd be a phenom. But at least defensively, he's unstoppable.
Yeah. And you mentioned Altuve. Go ahead and tell me why you think he's fourth on your top five.
Well, I mean, the Stros obviously are still a very good team, and in my opinion, he's the star of the show there. He's got help, but he brings a good bat. So I, I don't know if they'll be able to keep up with the Red Sox. They obviously didn't last year, but they're still a good team, you know. So um, he makes the list because of what he can do and has done in the past, obviously.
I mean, he was the MVP 2 years ago. He's actually number 3 on my list.
Okay, there you go.
So he segue right into mine, and he's number 3 there. And he has the numbers that Lindor should have because he has Bregman, Correa. But that team, they lost Marwin Gonzalez, they lost Dallas Keuchel. So they're not the same, even though they've got some young talent coming up. But I think you're right. I think they lost a little bit going into this season. Everyone's still predicting them to be a 100-win team. I think they come up just shy. I think they come up about 97, 98. I think the Oakland A's are going to step up and win a few more games in that division this year and challenge them a little bit for that crown.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Altuve is right there in the mix. So he's number 3 for me. Who do you have at third?
Lindor.
Oh, wow. So we just flip-flopped him? Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
So go ahead and give me your 2.
Number 2, it's kind of a given, but Mike Trout has to make this list. He hasn't been making as much noise as people think he should. And I don't know if that's just because he's got that same Lindor situation where everything is fucking tied up in pool halls and they just can't get anyone to help him out. But nonetheless, he's an insane bat. Good outfielder. I don't know if he's, anything super spectacular, but he's good. And obviously you're going to pay him for his bat. I think either the Angels are going to give him some kind of deal or he's going to move on and maybe try to go the Harper route or whatever. But I think he'll be productive throughout his career.
I don't see him staying with the Angels. I've got a lot to caveat off, or a lot to say about what you had to say.
Sure.
If the Angels aren't going to pay to bring anyone else there, they're not going to pay the money that he deserves to stay there. And I don't think he would stay there knowing that they're not going to bring anyone else there. He's moving on. He is a well above average outfielder.
Is he?
You need to make sure that you tune into some Angels games this year because just like Lindor, his numbers would be through the roof had he had more teammates around him.
Okay. The reason I just said I thought he was average. I never really hear about him making any kind
quiet. He's real quiet. He's not flashy. He's not an attention whore.
Yeah, but he's just solid.
That's why he's not the face of baseball. He's not a flashy showman type guy. Like I'm sure you have Mookie Betts at your number 1.
Duh.
Mookie's much more flashy. He's flamboyant. He's a little he's a little bit more of a showman, I guess.
Yeah, he wears his chain.
Yeah. I still have Mike Trout as the best in baseball. I still have Mike Trout as number 1 and Mookie as number 2.
Okay, that's fair.
You need to make sure you watch some Angels baseball this year.
Yeah.
You watch just a good series to see Mike Trout play baseball.
Now, why do you give, since Mookie won MVP, why do you give the nod to Trout?
Overall body of potential. Overall body of what you expect every year. Mookie played out of his ass last year a lot. He made, like a 50-50 ball went his way. He had a lot of lucky bounces, a lot of things that went the right way for him. Things that if it goes the other way, we're talking like 40 points on his batting average. Less RBIs. That's not an MVP season. So he had, and he did that again back in 2016, I believe. He was the runner up for the MVP. But then in 2017, it was kind of he's still a good player, but it's not MVP caliber. So he hasn't proven to be the man yet. He'll pass him this year if he has another season like that, though. If he has another MVP-esque season, he'll be the best in baseball on
Yeah.
every list, on
Yeah.
everyone's list.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a good point. It's kind of funny hearing that from a fan. Like, you'd never expect a fan of a team to put their guy lower than someone else, but that's a very honest take on it. So
It's funny that you mentioned that because I was talking with Harvey earlier today, and I was telling him what we were talking about on tonight's show, and we ran
Aaron
down
Judge better be your number one.
we ran down our lists, and he had Aaron Judge at his number 2, which, I mean, I would put Aaron Judge within the top 10.
Yes, me too.
I would probably put him at number 6, to be honest, in the American League. He's close. He's an above average outfielder. I mean, he does play the short porch in Yankee Stadium, so that cuts off about 100 feet of, you know, area that he has to cover compared to someone like Mookie Betts, but whatever. I mean, who's really counting, whatever.
You are, apparently.
No. But I would put him at 6. But Harvey was saying, like, oh, my list looked real Red Sox friendly. So I'm glad that yours was pretty much the same as mine. Just a few people flip-flopped.
Mm-hmm.
You had JD Martinez and Mookie Betts in your top 5.
Yeah, I
Same
mean,
as me.
if you're looking at this realistically, that it doesn't have to be in that order, but at least 2 Red Sox players have to be up there. I mean, they were so fucking dominant.
Yeah, and I mean, they have essentially the same lineup, essentially the same team. And if they're able to replicate any semblance of what they did last season, like, I don't see those players slacking off any.
Yeah.
And with that supporting cast that they have that are always on base, getting them in those tough hitters areas where it's like high stress pitches, runners on first and third with 1 out with Mookie Betts on the plate. What are you going to do in that situation with, Mookie batting second with JD Martinez batting behind him? Are you going to walk Mookie and walk the bases loaded to get to JD Martinez? I don't fucking think so.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to pitch, and there's no getting around them having the ability to go long or at least get base hits, so good luck to the American League.
Yeah. I hope they're able to replicate. Everybody thinks that the Yankees are going to be better this year. They did add a lot to their bullpen, and that will save them a lot of games down the stretch and keep them in a lot of games so that their bats can win it late. So it'll be interesting as the summer progresses to see how the Yankees are going to gel. Are they going to be able to hit as many home runs as they did last year when they set all those records? Can Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton,
Can
be
Stanton,
productive?
can Stanton play for the level that he's paid to play at?
Probably not, but I mean, can he at least go out there and hit 50 home runs as a Yankee? Can he at least hit 40 home runs as a Yankee? Like,
Do you know what he hit last year?
not off the top of
roundabout?
my head. I
Okay.
think he was in the 30s.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, is a good season, stellar season for most anyone, but like you said, he's getting paid at the time the biggest contract in sports history.
Yeah. And he's at Yankee Stadium, which we've alluded to is short on the home run side.
On the well, it's on the right field side.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, let's shift gears and talk about our National League.
Yeah. This is the league that we've been saying is the breakout league of this season, and is going to be a crazy thing to watch. So I can kick it off and we can do it just like we did.
But before we kick it off, I just want like to caveat of what you were saying with this being the breakout league and the big time league. Just listen at the names that I left off of my top 5, in no particular order: Freddie Freeman, Joey Votto, Anthony Rendon, Scooter Gennett, Manny Machado. Those are all names that are not on the top 5.
Yeah, crazy.
And all those are all-stars.
Yep.
So
craziness. Yeah, it really shifted from last year where really the Rockies and Brewers were the only teams making noise to a bunch of teams picked up picked up players, and we've got ourselves a playoff series in the making that's going to be intense.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch a lot of National League this year. Like when the Red Sox aren't playing or rain out or whatever, I'll definitely flip it on to a National League game somewhere. It'll be the Brewers or it'll be the Cardinals or it'll be the Rockies or somebody. One of those good teams that have a good core, good young team. That's who I want to watch. But go ahead and kick off your number 5. I want to see where our National League matches up.
I kind of, just because the way the leagues are, I think the National League for you and I will be a lot different between each other's, but we shall see. At number 5, I've got Bryce Harper. And the reason he's only at 5 is because we've alluded to this. He's a decent outfielder and he's a bat, but he's also not like a just home run aficionado. He's had seasons where he not
fluctuates.
Great. Yeah. What puts him into the top 5 is he's got this giant contract. His fate is basically sealed. And now all he has to do is perform and play the game. So in my eyes, that kind of alleviates the pressure of, I've got to find a place to go and I've got to get out of this team that I don't like, or whatever the bullshit that might cloud a player's judgment. He has nothing to focus on other than playing baseball. And if he doesn't perform and makes all this fucking money,
he'll get booed out of Philadelphia.
Oh my God. Good luck. So I'm not saying he's like a stellar guy. He's good, definitely good, but he squeaks into the top 5 for me.
Okay, that's fair. I feel weird saying it like this, but number 5 for me is the reigning National League MVP, and that's Christian Yelich.
Okay.
I think that's a situation like I was saying earlier that Mookie played out of his ass a lot last year. I think Yelich played out of his ass the entire year. You can't tell me you were a mediocre player in Miami and then all of a sudden you're the best player in the league just by switching teams. I think it had a lot to do with a lot of the other Brewers hitters being base hitters around him. They were always on base, so it was allowing him to get those good counts. And he had Eric Thames and Travis Shaw protecting him in the lineup that are big bats. So I think you're going to see Yelich not be as productive because he's not. I think he's a top 5 in the league player, but I don't think he's the top player every year. Yeah. If that makes sense. But to kind of segue off of your number 5, I have Bryce Harper at number 4.
That's hilarious.
I don't have him much higher than you. So
yeah.
But the only note that I want to add about him, other than what you already said, was he is the reigning home run derby champ, and I saw a little snippet of news that this year's home run derby gets $1 million. Last year's home run derby didn't get $1 million.
Damn. That really sweetens the pot.
That really sweetens the pot. So this year, I bet instead of having some of the young sluggers or whatever, you're going to have your Bryce Harpers, your Manny Machados. You're going to have Stanton. Judge will probably be in it. All the big time guys that want to. JD Martinez, he'll go out. Fuck, $1 million is $1 million to go and swing a bat.
Yeah.
It's like you got to wonder if Bryce Harper kind of feels like John Swinson in our fantasy football league. He won the championship the last year before we started making it a pay league. He even said something when it happened. He was like, "Motherfucker, I'll probably never win it again."
I won it when it wasn't a pay league either. So
you won it twice. You won it 2 years in a row when it was a free league.
But I gotta say, just having the belt sit in my house and I didn't even have to think about it. Like, oh yeah, I got that belt. That was good enough for me at the time. And I got to engrave my fucking team name twice. I was like, I went to Things Remembered, put these dirty ass sounding names on there twice, motherfucker.
Here's your $5.50 for your 20 cents a letter or whatever it was.
Yep. I don't want to drift off too much, but I want to see what you think about this real quick.
Okay.
You said that the home run derby champ now gets $1 million.
Yep.
What do you think about them doing something along those lines for the All-Star game? Like the winning team gets to split $3 million or whatever it might be. Do you think that would make players, take it more seriously and actually try and make it an entertaining game?
Well, I think of all the sports, baseball has probably the best and most competitive all-star game anyway, even though it means nothing now. I think it's just these guys go out there and they're the best baseball players in the world. And even if they're having fun, they're just playing baseball.
Yeah, that's true. Baseball is probably the one sport where it doesn't matter if you're playing like just your buddies or whatever. It's fun. And if you enjoy it, you're going to make it a fun game.
Well, and if you go up there and you're just swinging for the fences every pitch, you're either going to hit a home run or strike out. Like, if the pitcher wants to strike you out, and none of these pitchers, like, you think fucking Chris Sale makes the All-Star game and goes up there for the first pitch and wants to lob one in so you can hit a home run? Fuck off.
Yeah.
That dude wants to throw a ball right by you and make you swing at something that's down at your knees or at your fucking ankles and make you fall to your knees like Manny Machado did on the last strike of the World Series. Fuck Manny Machado.
That's a fair point.
Let's get back to our list.
Okay, cool. What are we at? Number four?
Number four.
Okay.
Bryce Harper for me.
Okay. Now I hope I don't sound what's the fucking word? Biased.
Okay.
But I've got Paul Goldschmidt at number 4 for me.
I don't think you sound biased at all.
Okay. Just to kind of let people know why. He's a 6-time All-Star, 4-time Silver Slugger, 3-time Gold Glove. So mic drop on that. I mean, he brings something to a team that, at least for the Cardinals, is very much needed.
That guy right there is the difference maker in your team. That's the difference maker in your late August, early September run last year, and then it sputtering out at the end and pushing over the hump and making it to the postseason. That's Paul Goldschmidt for your team.
Yeah.
Who's your number 3? I'm excited to see who you have ranked better than Goldie.
It's Christian Yelich. So I guess I screwed that one.
No, I mean it's how you see it. It's not, you didn't screw it. That's just how you see it.
No, but yeah, I mean, for me, the 2 cycles was something else. And kind of like you alluded to, he's got hitters in front of him that kind of help that out or whatever. I don't see him getting any worse. He's still relatively young guy, coming off of an MVP season. You would think that he'd be able to do well. I expect him to be the star of the team again.
Don't you think Yelich looks like everyone's little brother though?
He does have an odd look to him.
It's not a knock on his baseball abilities. It's just saying, like, he just looks like he's your little brother or something.
He does have an odd look about him. It's like you almost can't take him seriously.
Right. Maybe that's why I rank him so low. I mean, he's a great baseball player, but I don't know. I think it's more so that he gets protected in that lineup a lot.
Yeah, that's understandable. Who do you got at number 3?
Number 3, I got Chris Bryant from the Cubs. He pretty much was their heartbeat, their World Series championship year back in 2016. He's been their perennial all-star, him and Wilson Contreras. And Javi Baez is another big name in that lineup that kind of helps inflate Bryant's numbers, at least hitting wise. But what really sells me on Bryant is his defense. He's a stellar defender.
Is he a second baseman? First base?
First baseman.
Yeah.
I think he's the Gold Glove last year. I can't remember. I'd have to look it up.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, but well, it's between either him or Goldschmidt. I can't remember which one won the Gold Glove last year. Anyway, they're the ones that trade it back and forth.
Yeah,
and Bryant's also good with the stick, so He's my number 3.
He's the guy that I basically had to snub on this list. And I honestly thought long about it. I was like, yes, I forget about Chris Bryant. But yeah, a stellar player.
I think maybe 2 years ago, maybe I have him ranked too high this year, to be honest. Maybe he needed to be dropped off this list and somebody else elevated, because I was kind of going back and forth with him, and ultimately I put him up higher because his numbers over the past like 2 to 3 years averaged better than like that's how
Yeah.
I guess
No, I
try to
understand. Yeah.
rank him like as the best in the sport is like over a 2 to 3 year arc. And that's why Yelich was so low for me, is because you can't go from mediocrity to superstardom in 1 year and be the best player in baseball. But I don't know. I think Chris Bryant, he is a weird one. Freddie Freeman might have deserved to be on the list more than Bryant, but
It is what it is. Like you
I,
said with my Goldschmidt and Harper pick, this is just how we see it. So
yeah, yeah. Anyway, for number 2, I've got your boy Goldie.
oh well, I appreciate it.
That's why I said I don't think you're being biased at all. I think you were being very modest,
Yeah.
because I've got Goldie as the second best in the entire league. Um, like I said, he's the difference maker for the St. Louis Cardinals. When they make the postseason this year, you can look back and say it was because Paul Goldschmidt had a near MVP like season.
Right.
Even if he doesn't win the MVP, he'll have the numbers to be in the talks.
Yeah. For me, I've got the young gun Ronald Acuna at number 2. I like a young player that comes out and just fucking destroys. Rookie of the year. That you don't get any better as a rookie player than that. I expect him to just keep getting better. They've got a decent squad there now. It is going to be hard to play in the National League for them, but just he's got a ton of potential for me. I I definitely could be wrong because he's so young, but when someone comes out swinging like that, unless something crazy happens or he gets the yips or whatever might happen, the sky is the limit for this kid. So
No,
just keep swinging.
I agree 100%. And, to come out and be rookie of the year like that and be, like you said, one of, I don't have him on my top 5 list, but one of the best in the entire league, if not the entire sport. It's phenomenal. Dustin Pedroia, his rookie season, he was the rookie of the year. And then the following season, he was the MVP of the league. I mean, and Acuna is on pace to do something similar, and very well could. If he puts up the numbers, he very well could be an MVP player this year. That's crazy that you had him so high. But yeah,
Yeah, I know. I kind of thought that's a little high for such a young kid who hasn't really proven anything, but I just that's just how I see it.
I tell you though, I collect baseball cards, and I've got a special binder of um, guys' rookie cards and stuff like that I think will be worth money one day or whatever. And I've got a bunch of Acuñas stuck in there.
There you go.
I've got some Ozzy Albies stuck in there too for all you Braves fans out there.
Nice.
Yeah, those guys they're special. And like I mentioned earlier, Freddie Freeman, I thought was snubbed on my list from the Braves. So like they do have a good squad.
Mm-hmm.
But man, the National League East is going to be tough.
That's why I said he probably won't get as far as you'd think good player would get. But man, it's so stacked that what can you do?
Who's your number 1?
I'm sure we both have the same number 1, but I've got Nolan Arenado.
Yep, that's also who I chose as my number 1. I think he's overall the 3rd best player in baseball. I see it as Trout, Mookie Betts, Nolan Arenado. He recently moved up over Jose Altuve, in my opinion.
Okay.
Last season, I would have said he was 4th. I've been high on Arenado for a long time. I think he's a fantastic third baseman. He reminds me defensively as a Wade Boggs. Like he's a vacuum cleaner at third base. He sucks everything up.
Yep.
If he doesn't catch it, he knocks it down and at least makes a play on the ball. And that's what you want as a third baseman. He stays in front of it. He's not afraid to get dirty, and he's well worth every bit of that. What, 270, $280 million that he just signed for? It's well worth it. He will corner the Rockies infield for many years to come, and hopefully by the time he gets too old to be able to be an effective third baseman, they establish the National League designated hitter and he's able to continue his career.
Yeah, that would be ideal, right?
Yeah, I mean that imagine how much longer that would have extended like Chipper Jones's career or something like that. He was a third baseman as well.
Yeah.
But
I would imagine that
third until he retired.
I would imagine that Pujols probably would have benefited from that too.
I mean, he's in the American League anyway. It's the
Angels. Oh, the Angels are. Yeah, you're right.
It's the Angels' fault that they don't play him as a DH, or it's his fault because he won't accept the fact that he just needs to go be a DH.
That's true.
I mean, but realistically, it doesn't matter. It's his hitting numbers that suck.
Yeah, that's true.
He can still catch lobs from second base, shortstop, third base. He can just be a first baseman and not be that athletic.
That's true. But going back to
David Ortiz played first base whenever he had to.
Did he? I thought he was an outfielder before DH.
He was a first baseman.
Okay.
Like whenever the Red Sox would play in National League games and stuff.
Yeah. I always think that just the big sluggers are automatically left field.
I mean, you have to be an athlete to be in these outfield positions. I mean, look at how many diving plays happen and stuff. It's not the days of like Canseco where everybody's just a juiced up monkey that hits home runs. The guys these days, like they've got serious pop in their bats, but they're fucking athletes. Mookie Betts is an outfielder. Jackie Bradley Jr. is an outfielder. You know, Aaron Judge is a monster, but he's a freak of nature. Look at the other outfielders on their team. Brett Gardner, he's a little guy. Jacoby Ellsbury, he's a little guy. Aaron Hicks, he's tall, but he's a skinny little fucker. You know, like a lot of teams don't have those huge muscle bound guys from like the 90s patrolling their outfields anymore. You've got athletic, quick defenses now.
Yeah, that is a great point. So there's our top 5.
Yeah, we finally got them out.
Pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty cool that we had pretty similar lists, but yours had a little new flair on the National League, I guess.
Yeah, a little difference. So first, do you have any snubs that we haven't mentioned that you want to kind of go over a little bit?
No, not really.
Okay.
I think we kind of covered it. We mentioned enough guys that were close enough to the list, and you know, as Bob Uecker would say, they were just a bit outside.
Yep. I'm excited to do pitchers next too. That'll be fun.
Yeah. For me, the American League is pretty tough actually to list out my pitchers, and I haven't even looked at the National League yet.
Right.
So we'll get to that next week. So, we've got a lot coming up in the next month or so for our show. We've got a lot of Game of Thrones. I'm so excited about all the surprises that we're getting ready to drop on everybody. And of course, we're still doing our review contest until the end of March, which I haven't really seen much feedback on that. So if we don't really get anything, we might just kank that.
Yeah, you'd think people would want a hat, but fuck, I guess
not. I guess no one cares.
Yeah, we'll try for a while.
All right. So anyway, you got anything else?
No. 18 days till opening day.
Is it that many? I thought it was less than that.
At least for Cardinals.
Yeah, cool. We'll go with it. Peace.